Hello, Mummer IT. Just thought we'd do a little story time. So often there's so many people trying to talk to me that I hide that I realize that, maybe you don't know who I am. So let's just talk a little. Let's start with I think for this video, and if it does well, we'll do more. But I wish I had a webcam so this could be more normal, but I don't at the moment. It's another story. But how did I start with gaming at all? I'm been doing this Minecraft server for 4 years now. Probably a little bit more than that now. And why? What did I do? Let's start way back at the beginning. I had a Nintendo. My dad had brought home a Nintendo from work. He had won a sales contest at work, and he brought home a Nintendo. And we just had Super Mario Brothers with the Duck Hunt. It was the combo, and we played it a lot. We got a few more games, but not a ton. Let's see. We had some weird ones. Aston X, A Boy and His Blob was probably one of my favorites. You should. Even now, that game has interesting concepts. You throw jelly beans in a blob's mouth. It was an interesting game. I don't think I ever did very well on it. It was pretty hard. And there were some kids in the neighborhood that had Nintendo games too. I played a lot of Top Gun. A lot of different Nintendo games. These kids, Mark and Michael up the street, had a pretty nice collection. So I would borrow games from them occasionally. Well, pretty often. I always had a couple. So I had a Nintendo for a long time, and that was really my first gaming experience. My parents did have an Atari at one point, but it was the really old Atari that was just Pong, and it was one controller, and there was a knob to change the different modes, but the modes were really just the same game, but different colors. It was a very weak gaming machine. And you couldn't change the game. It was pretty much just Pong. So the Nintendo was pretty much my thing. I did meet someone that got a little bit older that had a Super Nintendo, and occasionally that would let me borrow the Super Nintendo. Not often, but played a lot of Street Fighter on that. It was fun. I played Super Mario Brothers 3 a lot. I played a little bit of Zelda and Link. I think the second one was called Zelda, wasn't it? I don't know. I didn't play a ton, I gotta be honest. I played more later on, but I don't know. Caveman games, does anyone remember that one? That was I did pretty well at that game. You had to spin the controller around and around. So for a long time that was all I had, the Nintendo. The reasons behind that are varied. We can go into it in another story. My parents were splitting up, and we didn't really upgrade for a long time. I did have one friend who did have a Sega Genesis, had some good games, but I didn't play it too much. Rampage was a good one. Remember the monkeys climbing up the buildings, but other than that, I didn't really play a lot of Sega, so I was never really super into Sega. I don't know, probably once I got up to like 12, 13, somewhere around there, I think PlayStation was coming out, and my dad got us a PlayStation, but my parents were separated, so it was weird living with my mother at the time, and we didn't have a lot of games or a lot of money, and we rented some games, but I don't know, it wasn't great. I did have one friend who let me borrow the first CD of Final Fantasy, and we played that game. Me and my brother and sister, we played that game so much, but we didn't have any of the other CDs, so it was kind of pointless. I mean, it wasn't pointless. The first CD has the bulk of the content. The second and third CD had a lot of movies. I don't really know because I never played it, because I never did get the second and third CD from anyone. But yeah, that was Tekken Tag was good. Around this time, I got a paper route, and I was delivering papers every day, and I got enough money to buy myself a computer. And my first game was StarCraft. I bought it. I had a friend who we went to the armory. It was like more the military. It's just a big place, and they used to bring computer shows there. They would just come and sell really cheap computer parts, probably partially broken. Oh, that's a funny story I could tell anyway, actually. But for another time. So we put this computer together, and I had StarCraft that I had bought at this place, and the CD key wasn't valid. So I could never actually play online. But I did play direct. At the time, you could direct connect. You could actually call someone through StarCraft, and you could play with them. And I played a little bit that way. But yeah, I could never play on Battle.net, and it was alright. I don't remember a whole lot of other games from this time period. Then I moved. I moved in with my father, and I had a little bit more money. Not a ton, but enough to. And that's when I started to get a little older. I got a different job. I started working at a gas station. I got some stories there, but I did that for a while, and I bought my first real video card. That I think this was the start of my game. Was a GeForce 3 Ti 500, and it cost $400, which was an insane amount at the time for a 16-year-old kid. But I wanted it, and I used that video card for probably 6-7 years. I don't know. It was a good card. It started to show its age near the end, but the fact that it could keep going and play with the newest games was nice. I liked it. So let's see. Games I was playing at the time, Giant Citizen Kabuto. I mean, you can't. If that game came out now, it would be amazing. The technology at the time really didn't support it. There was a really fun single player, but the best part of the game was the multiplayer, and you had you had teams, and on one team there would be this giant monster who would have to eat the other players, and he would grow, and that would be the whole team. And then you had these other ones that were sirens, and they weren't used as much. And then you had the little guys who were called mechs, and they would run around and try and kill the giant monster. And it was amazing online. This was back in the days of GameSpy. They're not when they were big, but yeah, the network conditions then were just not really great for it, and it didn't get a huge player base. But I played it a lot. My brothers played it. It was definitely enjoyable. I wish they would do a remake. There's a lot of games that I wish they would do a remake for with today's technology. So around this time is when I discovered MUDs, which are text-based games, and I really can't talk about my gaming history without talking about MUDs, because that was a time when a lot of people didn't have an in-home network. So my brothers and we really I lived with my brother and my stepbrother, and this was when most people had dial-up, and we had dial-up for a while, and we used to at night we used to sneak the extra phone line and the second phone line and try to, so we could both go online at the same time, because we both had computers and do all sorts of weird stuff. But eventually we got broadband, quote unquote. It wasn't very fast, but it was still broadband cable modem, and we bought a router, and I set it up, and this is the time nobody really had routers. So we had a network in our house, and we were playing this MUD, and we would work together, and we were only, I was probably the oldest at 16 or so, 15, 16 at this time. My brothers were, 3 years younger than me, or so, 1 and 3 years younger than me. So we were fairly young, and we would go and kill people. It was almost like trolling, because in this game, if you died, you lost your stuff, and it was kind of annoying, and we would just kind of make these trash characters and just go. To us they weren't trash. They were the best we knew how to do, but they would consider them trash in the game. But they were powerful enough to take out. If we grouped up and we worked together really fast, we could take out these big people, and we would just go around and do this, and then people would chase us, and it was fun. We got in a lot of trouble. Not real trouble, but they would get chased down and killed and blah blah blah. But it was fun. I wonder if they ever realized how young we were. I don't know. If I went back now, it'd be funny. I bet you some of them still have logs. This was Arctic. If anyone watches this video ever and has played Arctic, I was a douche troll during that time with my brothers. I don't remember what years it was. I remember some of the names of people who killed me. If you asked, I could tell you. But anyways, long story short, that was fun. But that was when, I mean, really people weren't working together really in that, like, voice chat. There was no voice chat back then, so we were able to do well because we had the best voice chat there was. We were in the same room, and I'm sure people in college or something in other settings had the same thing, but not everyone. So that was where we benefited. Okay, we're starting to get closer to where we are now. So that was really my early years. I played some other games. There was some real gems in there. Evil Genius is probably one of my favorites. It really needs to be remade. I can't think of any right now, but I've definitely played in the past quite a few games. As I got a little older, I started to play Dota 2, which or Dota, really, Warcraft 3 custom. I played Warcraft 3 a lot, and then I played Dota 2, or Dota, I'm sorry, excuse me. I played that a lot, and I kept coming back year after year, and I was never amazing, but I played it. It was good. It's a fun game, and it's varied, so there's a lot to it. It's always changing, and each game's like an hour, and then you try something new with the next game. So I liked it. And well, that leads us to now. I mean, I'd still play Dota. I play Dota 2 now. I'm still not that great, but I play it a lot. Probably get a game in a day at least, probably 2. I don't do more than that. It's kind of time consuming, but it's the only game I really play these days. Oops, what? Alright, there we go. When they come back to this area, yeah, I started to play WoW for a while, and then someone handed me a guild, and it was a fairly decent-sized guild, an endgame rating guild. We weren't amazing. I don't even know why I did it now, but I did it, and I guess I learned a lot of the things that I use now there, and it was an interesting experience. I did it for 3 years. I was a druid. I healed at first, and I think that's what everybody loves, healers, right? So then I healed at first, and then I turned into a feral druid, and I did that. I tanked a lot. I wonder if this was a time before people were making a lot of videos. This was when YouTube was just starting to get cool. So I don't think we have videos. I don't even know if I can find videos from that. That'd be weird. I would have to look. But I did that for 3 years, and then I got tired of it. I mean, WoW's a good game, but I don't know. I kind of dropped out of a lot of games for a while. I did kind of random games. Nothing really I can say. I've never been good at first-person shooters. I like strategy. I love SimCity, except for the last one, which was ass. I like that type of game. So I don't play standard games usually. I guess how I got into Minecraft, because that's the game that we're in now. Probably why you're watching this video. If you're watching this video, you care about Minecraft. Or have cared at one point. So, yeah, I was looking for something to do. I was working this job. It was kind of boring. Wasn't really, I don't know, it was just a job. And I saw Minecraft, and I like everyone else, I pirated it. But you couldn't play online like that. So, I mean, that's obviously how they get you, right, these days with the online. Yeah, I pirated it, and I thought it was cool, but I was like, there's no really point. I wonder whose area this is. There's not really a point unless you play online. So, if you played on, I bought it. It was what, $10, $15 at the time. I bought it, and I had Minecraft, and I started going on multiplayer servers, looking for multiplayer servers, and it's confusing. I'm sure it's confusing now for players that are just coming into it, especially kids. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really like it. So I was like, screw it. I'll just make my own server. I want to play with Linux anyways. I had a little experience with Linux, but I knew I needed to brush up on my skills, to say the very least. So I had this extra computer parts, and I put together this crappy computer, and I could host 6 people. 6 people on my server. That's all my network could really handle. And I lived with my brother at the time, and the network really couldn't handle, if 6 people were on the server, we really couldn't play a game or anything. We couldn't do anything. We used to play Dota, or Han, Heroes of New Earth at the time, which was like a Dota 2, or a Dota clone. And never got into League of Legends. Not a big fan. I don't know. I'm a Dota guy. Anyways, yeah, we couldn't play. It was too laggy. So eventually it became pretty obvious, and people couldn't get on the server because we could only have 6 slots before everybody lagged out. So this is about the time that I realized that we need to get, you know, a box, and people kind of just came to me with money, and were like, "Here, you know, get a box." And I'm like, "You sure?" I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. And there's some stories there. I could tell you about our very first. That could be a story time. It's the first 6 months of Months World. It was hectic to say the least. This is kind of cool. But wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So then we got a server, and there was issues, but I kept it going. I learned a lot that first year, the first 6 months to a year, and we did pretty well. You know, we had a lot of lucky breaks, a lot of hardships. You know, it's ups and downs, but we're still here, right? So I'm still doing it, and we'll keep doing it as long as Minecraft's a thing.